How's it going, guys? Back here to do part 3 of my 2015 MLB season predictions in terms of the standings for divisions. I've already finished the NL and AL Central, and I've already finished the NL and AL West. Time to do the AL and NL East divisions now. I'm going to start with the AL. We have the Baltimore Orioles, the Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, Tampa Bay Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays. We've had some pretty good teams here in the past in this division. Baltimore was very good last year. Toronto was pretty dang good last year. Boston had a season to forget last year. The Yankees were mediocre, and Tampa Bay had a season to forget last year. So, I don't know a whole lot about the changes that these teams made. I know the Yankees, let's see, I think they signed a couple new players. I'm not sure about the rest of them, honestly. I know Tampa Bay is in a huge rebuilding process right now. Boston, they signed Pablo Sandoval. It's probably their biggest offseason acquisition. But, other than that, not a whole lot doing in the AL East this year. I think it'll be a pretty tight race, though, between some of the teams. You could say that Baltimore and Toronto are probably the best two teams in the division, but the Yankees, I think, will always be in that mix, too, always, Boston seems to be still struggling this year, but you never know. It doesn't matter how bad a team looks at the beginning. It's all about who's hot in the end. So, honestly, just off what I have, I think Baltimore is going to win the division. That's just my opinion. They were really good last year. I don't know if they'll be better this year, but I don't see how they'll be being much. I don't see how they will be much worse this year. Second place, I'd say Toronto. They got a good core group of guys, some good pitching. Third, I'd have to go with actually the Yankees. Like I said, they have a few good players. I mean, they are the Yankees. They're always going to have good players. They have a high payroll, yada, yada, yada. They're always a good team, well coached, everything like that. So I think the Yankees will be in the mix there, but I don't see them winning the division, so I put them at 3. Could be wrong, though. Fourth, I would put Boston. I think Boston, they could get something, they could, if you look at them like on paper, they look pretty good. So they're just one of those teams where it's like, why can't you get it done, It's just one of those things. But that's all right. And then Tampa Bay, I'd say, is going to be 5th. They're in a complete rebuilding stage. They just got rid of a bunch of young players that weren't looking too good for them. They've brought up a bunch of people from the minors, new coach. They've had their fair share of ordeals, I tell you that. They had one of the worst teams in baseball last year, and they might get a little better, but I don't see them even being talked about for playoffs. Not even a chance. Again, Baltimore Orioles 1. Toronto Blue Jays 2, New York Yankees 3, Boston Red Sox 4, and Tampa Bay Rays 5. That is my standings for the AL East. Let me move on over to the NL East now. We have the Atlanta Braves, the Miami Marlins, the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Washington Nationals. Historically, some very good teams in this division with Atlanta, the Phillies, Washington, Miami even too. Just historically, just some really good teams in this division. Last year, Washington was very good. They lost in the divisional series against the Giants, who went on to be world champions. Phillies, one of the worst teams in baseball last year, season to forget. Mets were, I can't remember, I think they were a little below average last year. Miami was about average, and then Atlanta was about average. This division has taken a big turn. Atlanta traded their best closer in the game, to the Padres. So I see Atlanta, they're in a little bit of a rebuilding process. They got rid of Justin Upton and B.J. Upton as well. So I think they're definitely in a little bit of a rebuilding process right now. Miami started their rebuilding process a while ago, and they're looking really good. They have Giancarlo Stanton in right field. They just signed Christian Yelich to a big deal. He's in left field. Their center fielder Ozuna, he did pretty good last year. They got rid of Casey McGee. He's over there in San Francisco now. But I mean, I think their main core is still there. They look like they could do some damage this year. The Mets, they've been looking good early. They had a pretty decent spring too, if I remember correctly. But yeah, they're kind of in a rebuilding process. The Phillies, they lost to a college team in spring, their first game. University of Jacksonville or something like that. I don't know, but they're looking not so good this year. I'm sorry to say, they're rebuilding right now. Not much you can do about it. It's part of the game. Everyone's gonna rebuild at one point. They're in the heart of it right now, the thick of it. So give them a couple more years. They could be back to being as good as they used to be back in 2008 when they won the World Series, stuff like that. And then the Nationals, like I already talked about them a little bit. They were really good last year. They're actually, Vegas Sportbook has them #1 to win the World Series. So, they're going to be a really good team. They're definitely a force to be reckoned with. I see them as one of the teams in the National League Championship Series this year. I really do. They're very, very good. They have the best rotation in the world now. Just look it up. Go look it up, and you'll be like, wow. So many all-stars on that team, led by Bryce Harper. They're just a great, great team. So with that being said, I'd say Washington Nationals, they win the division. I think Miami will be second. And then after Miami, I actually have the Mets because they look pretty decent this year. I have them as third. And then fourth, I would say Atlanta. Like I said, with all the rebuilding and stuff they're doing, it's gonna be a while before they're back to contending. Excuse me. And then the Phillies, definitely 5. That's kind of hands down for me, unless something happens that they completely turn around. I think the Phillies will be 5th. So yeah, I mean, that's my prediction. I'd say Washington Nationals first, Miami Marlins second, third is going to be the New York Mets, fourth is going to be the Atlanta Braves, and fifth is the Philadelphia Phillies. That's my opinion on the National League East and AL East divisions in baseball for the 2015 MLB season. If you have any alternative viewpoints or anything like that, shoot a comment down there. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. This is just my opinion on the standings for this year. Hopefully it's a good year. Everyone stays healthy. God bless these players. And I just hope for a great season. I pray for a good season. I think we're in store for a really awesome season.